Yeah, so our tale of woe with the private client, had a thing that was working great, got distracted by a shiny object, all right, and then everything goes to crap, which is probably dramatized. I think it's dramatized is the word I'm trying to use there.
Exaggerated.
Yeah, exaggerated a little bit, but like it was one of those, holy crap, bills are coming.
Yeah.
I ain't made no money in a while, and
Right.
then we figured it out. I was like, oh, that's because you totally stopped doing what was working and put more focus on new thing than you ever put on thing that was making you a tremendous amount of return on your investment.
Yeah.
So when we talk about intent-based branding all the time, which again you can learn about at kernclass.com if you want to check it out, the reason we talk about it all the time and the reason we do it all the time is because it works. So we are tripling down on strength. We're tripling down on what works. We're going 11x on it. So if something's working, do it as much as humanly possible.
Yeah.
And so people, when we talk about intent-based branding, a lot of times people get the misconception that, oh man, I got to totally redo the way I do business. And probably you get that misconception because there's so many shiny object type things out there where people are going, hey, here's a completely new way to do your business. But in fact, you don't have to redo the way you do your business. There are two parts of every business. Part number one is a sales process. And part number two is your marketing. The job of marketing is to drive people into your sales process who already know, like, and trust you and want what you want or what you sell, right? So if we take that to be true, you don't redo your business at all with intent-based branding. You simply use it as a tool to drive more people into your sales process for less money than you would normally do with advertising and with greater efficacy. I love using that word, but I think that's really appropriate to use here. And what I mean by that is when people come into your sales process, they're more likely to buy. So if you go to, for example, kernclass.com and look at it, that's the sales process, right? Mm-hmm. There's a sales video there. It's a very good one. It's like 20-something minutes long. It's really a tutorial. And you don't have to opt in to see it. There's like nothing, it's a video and there's a button there. And the reason why that sales process is kept so simple is because people who go to kernclass.com are going there after already knowing us and after seeing this stuff and after already getting benefit and value from, hopefully, from our conversations like these. So when you use intent-based branding, you by no means need to completely redo your business model at all. Mm-hmm. Don't. If
Unless
it's
you
working,
completely don't like it, so that's a different story.
Yeah, it's a completely different animal. But you certainly don't have to. It is simply a way of making what's working work a whole lot better and a lot more fun. Mm-hmm. So that's really, I think, what we wanted to.
But really focusing on the process. A lot of people, when they start getting some tangible results, they start driving new leads, they start selling, they start bringing more income in, they kind of get more comfortable. And when they are more comfortable, instead of pushing forward, the 3 steps to business that we teach is stabilize, optimize, and then scale. So once they stabilize the process and they start getting the basic process in place, they, instead of optimizing it and perfecting that process, they get distracted. And that's why so many people get stuck in the middle level instead of pushing forward, and they have so much potential in their business, but they get distracted and frustrated because they don't see those bigger results, and they just compare to other people, why that person is doing it and I'm not doing it, what is happening, what's wrong. So when that happens, what people usually do, they start blaming the process instead of really seeing how they are following that process, and if they need to perfect their focus retention to the process. So instead of looking for distractions, make sure that you squeeze out everything out of the current business process that you can possibly squeeze out, and optimize it and perfect it, and make sure that it's up all the way to the level where you can start scaling your process, and then add new nuances. But if your current process is working, if you are guided by people who know what they're talking about and you trust them, why not perfect it and then go into scaling
Why
instead
not
of
go all in? Yeah.
right, instead of getting distracted. You're not going to miss out on more information because it's from all over the place. It's just, you know, you're bombarded by new information.
You know what it's like? It's like if you have something that's working pretty good and you like it, right?
Yeah.
Like our client did. Like she had something that was working pretty good and she liked it. And that's kind of like having a marriage. And then what happens is you're like, hey, I like this marriage. It's working pretty good. And instead of going all in on that thing and like really focusing on it, you're like, maybe I should have another one too. You know, and of course that's all going to just be horrible. You know, I mean, one would assume, I've never tried it, but probably harder than it sounds, you know.
Yeah.
So it's really the same thing, metaphorically speaking, that we do when we lose focus. So again, triple down on what's working. What's working extremely well for us is this methodology that we call intent-based branding. There are 3 pillars of it. It's really simple. Pillar number 1, you create content, and the content doesn't have to be fancy. I mean, this counts, what we're doing right now. And the most important thing about that content is, number 1, it provides value to your audience. It's never really about you. It's always about them. It's about what they want, and it's about how they get it. So that's thing number 1. Thing number 2 is every bit of content that you create is designed to build goodwill with your audience, so they know, like, and trust you more and more and more with every piece they see. And thing number 3 is that it makes an offer. And people get hung up on that offer part because they think you have to do like you're doing a typical internet marketing webinar or something, and it's high pressure. It's not. Here, I'll give you an example. If you want to learn how to do it, or intent-based branding, go to kernclass.com. There's a video there, 20-something minutes. Takes you through a really deep dive on how everything works. And if you like it, there's a button on that page, and you can click it and enroll in our class. And if you don't want to, that's cool. That's how you make the offer, right? So that, for us, is working extremely well. Haven't changed our sales process. Haven't changed the business model. Don't recommend that you do. Instead, use this methodology to put more people into what's already working.